Hi, I'm Alan Nielsen with Triangle MLS, and I'm here with Stacey Anderson to take a look at the first quarter numbers. Hey, Stacey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're the guest host this month.
I am standing in for Rachel this month.
Rachel's under the weather, so
she
we
is
hope to
under
see
the
her
weather.
back next month.
So let's take a look at the numbers.
Mhm.
What can you tell us about the inventory for last month?
As Rachel and I have discussed numerous months, is that inventory is still struggling to be there. It's just the challenge, especially resale inventory. When you look at new home inventory, that's been increasing. It's up 16%, but resale inventory is down 15%. So those trends are really similar through the first quarter of this year that we've seen in some prior first quarters. Total inventory added, which is really what you want to see, was down 6%, which is not what you want to see.
No.
And then resale inventory added was down 13%. So that's another thing you don't want to see. So we've begged and pleaded. Maybe you'll have better luck this month than Rachel and I do, because we got to change the mojo. We ask every month for inventory, and it doesn't show up.
We will see. So does those numbers have any effect on showings in our market?
Yeah, well, lower amounts of things to sell results in lower showings. 17% compared to the first quarter of 2017,
Okay.
and then it was down 18% compared to March of 2017. So both those comparative metrics were down.
Yeah. How about sales under contract?
Once again, it's kind of A plus B equals C in this case. 1% down compared to one quarter of 2017, and down 2% compared to March of 2017. Now, the first quarter we didn't have the best weather in the world. We had that week where it didn't give above freezing. That's not exactly optimal for looking at or showing housing, and I think that's really the bigger influence on these negative metrics.
Yeah. So how about closed sales?
Well, this is really the first quarter where the lack of inventory and lower showings and the lower amount of houses added to the market really showed up in closed sales. Flat first quarter of 18 compared to first quarter of 17. Resales were down 2%, and that's really the struggle in the market, especially for all of you who are hanging out in the resale space, just trying to get listings. You've got more buyers than there are listings for it, but if you don't have anything to sell, you don't have anything to sell. So resale listings were down 2% during the quarter, and then the overall closed sales comparing March of this year with March of last year were down 1%.
So did that have any effect on days on market? Did we see any changes there?
Well, remember, as we've talked each month during the year, we've got a new way of, new construction is not represented in the DOM metrics. So we're actually going to see a little bit of an increase in the DOM. 52 days is still pretty good. It's up compared to where it was last year. But that's really, when you see the increase, it's not necessarily that things are taking longer to sell. It's just that new construction metrics are not being reported.
Okay. And finally, sales price, the average sales price.
Amazing. So what is being sold is really selling for a lot higher price. Overall average sales price up 9%, resale sales price up 10%.
Wow.
Those are really pushing it in terms of historical gains.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the overall average. There are some people that are doing better than that.
Yeah.
There are some that are doing worse. So that's really one of the things we kind of have to watch out for.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to ask me a question about housing affordability coming up.
Yeah. But before that, so with the prices going up this way, concern? Not yet?
Well, it's one of those things where whether we have a concern about it or not it's almost irrelevant. The buyers are paying for it. There's nothing funny going on in the mortgage market in terms of what we saw pre-recession. So if people have the ability to pay for it and the mortgage money is out there to do it, the buyers are the ones taking the risk. At some point, prices would get too high and people would say, we're not doing this anymore. But when you see double-digit increases or close to double-digit increases, the buyers are pretty accepting of the current price levels.
So, but clearly this will have an effect on the housing affordability.
Housing affordability is as the lowest number that it's ever been since they've been tracking it, which is not good. It's actually changed 10% for the worse compared to March of last year. But it's one of those things, I guess you can almost make the argument, housing gets least affordable, closings get down. Is that a reason that closings were down, or was it because there was less inventory? You can have that debate. I don't really have an answer for that yet, but I think that house prices going up and closed sales being at least where they were, maybe down a little bit, still means that even though house prices are least affordable, buyers are still accepting of them.
but it's certainly something we will continue
Yeah.
to track going forward.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, and please go to trianglemls.com to take a look at all our reports. And until then, see you next time.